actually happens to the stuff you put in the recycling bin? I've always been curious, so I decided to collect the recycling from our office and bring it to a recycling plant to find out. Follow me, we're going to find out the life of our recyclables as they go to a recycling plant. When I got to Sims Recycling Plant in Brooklyn, I found a huge warehouse where 800 tons of recyclables from all over New York are dropped off by barge and truck every day. The plant was built in 2013 and it is state of the art. It handles materials like metals, glass, and hard plastics. And after those materials are dropped off, they're sorted.
So we take all of those unsorted recyclables and we're pushing it through our processing system, which is almost all automatic. It's about 2.5 miles worth of conveyor belts, magnets, cameras, all sorts of other machines dedicated to just sorting out different materials.
The sorting machine is very high tech and sorts 14 kinds of materials, like glass, aluminum, cartons, and different types of plastic. Once enough of a material is collected, it's compressed into a 1,000 to 1,500 pound block called a bale. After the bales are sorted, they're sold to third-party companies. For example, a bale of aluminum might sell for $800. Buyers then take that raw material, clean and process it, and turn it into something new. This process saves way more energy than mining for virgin materials. With the same amount of energy that it takes to make 1 can of new aluminum, you can make 20 cans from recycled aluminum. And using 1 ton of recycled plastic saves 16 barrels of oil.
You have to think about all this stuff as coming from the earth, right? There's natural resources, oil, and all these plastics. And once you put it in the trash, it's going to a landfill or it's going to an incinerator. You're never going to use that material again. So it's super important we've got limited resources on this planet to use these kinds of materials as much as we can in the best ways possible.
Despite the great setup at Sims, there are a lot of issues with recycling. First of all, Americans kind of suck at it. According to the EPA, about 75% of all of our waste is actually recyclable, yet our recycling rates hang around 34% nationally. That basically means that only a third of every single thing we use and throw out every day is making it to the recycling bin. And don't get me started with New Yorkers. We only recycle 17% of our waste.
This is a garbage can right outside our office. You can see there's paper and there's some cans in there, cups. All of these things are recyclable. And they're in the trash right when there's a recycling bin right next door.
Only about 50% of recyclables in New York City are getting recycled right now. And I think that's largely a result of maybe a lack of public education, the fact that the rules have changed over time. Maybe some people just don't care enough or don't know why they should care. And I think all of those kind of issues can really be addressed through education.
For their part, Sims offers daily educational tours of their plant in an effort to boost our low recycling rates. Low rates aren't the only issue though. Sam also told me about another problem called wish cycling. That's when people put trash into the recycling bin, hoping it can be recycled, when in fact it cannot.
I would say it's about 10 to 13% of what we get is not something we want to receive. Those kinds of materials are maybe extra plastic bags, plastic film, maybe little bits of food scraps mixed in with those containers.
Wish cycling wastes a lot of energy and fuel because items are shipped to a plant like Sims, sorted, and then eventually just sent to the dump. I wanted to see if my coworkers and I were guilty of any wish cycling, so I convinced Sam to go through our bag with me. We're not wearing gloves because, is that okay with you?
Yeah, we do this every day.
Okay. By looking through our bag, I learned we made some mistakes, like putting paper towels in the recycling bin. They're actually compostable. He also told me important tips, like cutting down on plastic straws.
A lot of sort of single-use disposables that are really small, it's better to use less of these than to even try to recycle them because a lot of small plastics sort of fall through the cracks in the system.
Reduce.
Exactly.
Sam told me that another huge misconception about recycling are plastic bags.
We get about 18 tons of plastic bags here every single day. Ideally, we would be getting nothing.
Plastic bags are a low-quality kind of plastic, which makes them really hard to resell. For example, in Sim's case, they actually have to pay another company to come to pick up the bags and recycle them elsewhere. On top of that, the bags get stuck in the machine and can break it. So if you want to recycle your plastic shopping bags, go to a plastic drop-off at a retailer like Whole Foods. Or better yet, skip the plastic bags altogether and bring a reusable bag. It's important to note that every city is different, so look up what your city's recycling plant accepts. Sims is one of the most inclusive recycling plants on the East Coast, and it accepts more materials than many recycling plants. But Sam told me to abide by the general rule. If it's a hard plastic, put it in the recycling bin. Seeing the 800 tons of recyclables at Sims was insane, but that's nothing compared to the 12,000 tons of trash residents of New York City throw out every day. I know seeing that made me more conscious of what I use every day, and it inspired me to cut down on single-use plastics. But let's be real, plastic is still part of our everyday lives, and it's hard to avoid it completely. However, I've realized we can have a say in where it ends up, and while we're at it, help our environment and create a more sustainable future.
Close the loop. We can close.
Years of public service campaigns like Recycle Rex helped push recycling.
Say who, John? Who?
Recycle Rex.
Okay, got it.
I don't even know where that came from. I was moved by the music and the concept. But many people have been doing this recycling thing totally wrong. Cross-contamination with trash now threatens the industry. China, the world's biggest buyer of recycled materials, stopped importing a lot of our salvaged goods last year because they were too contaminated. That prompted some communities to end their recycling programs, while others cut back on the types of items they accept. Tony DeCopel is here to show us which items in our homes cannot be salvaged and how to do it right. Tony, good morning.
Good morning. Salvage is such a gentle word. What we're really talking about here is what to toss out and what not to toss out. And on that subject, tell me if this sounds familiar. You're in your kitchen and you're not sure if something can be recycled or not, but you toss it in the bin anyway. That is called wish cycling, and it's gotten so bad that the industry says an average of 25% of recycling is now actually trash. Hard to believe, I know, but we saw it for ourselves.
How you doing? I'm Tony. I work for CBS News.
Oh, hi.
We're doing a story about recycling, and so I have a very weird question to ask you.
Could we please take a look at your recycling and see if you're doing it right?
Sure.
On a recent day in Orlando, 3 brave souls agreed to haul out their recycling bins.
1, 2, 3.
And let us take a peek inside with the help of Mitch Hedlund from Recycle Across America.
We're going to take a look.
We're going to do a little audit here.
All right.
Each bin contained items that, at best, were questionable.
This is an obvious one. Definitely when it has food waste in. You could rinse that and it would be better.
So in most communities, you wouldn't be able to recycle a flower pot?
Correct. Cardboard, yes, but normally it needs to be broken down.
With many things that should have gone straight to the trash.
This is a total no-no. Styrofoam, this cannot be recycled in your community. Whatever the chip bag is, that's a problem.
Yeah, this is a problem here.
Yes. Paper is recyclable, but not this kind of paper.
It does look like it was a good dinner, though.
It was. Oh, that's good intention, but so not recyclable and so dangerous. Paper towels and napkins and tissue are not recyclable. This all together might lead to all of everything that you've done and you've put good effort towards, the whole thing going to landfill.
Oh. Now, before you judge, know the errors we caught here.
And that's your souvenir. Thank you for saying yes to CBS News. Here's a bucket of trash.
Are being repeated across America.
Just in general, recycling can be so confusing that people just don't take it seriously.
And if you've ever wondered where all that recycling ends up, there's a good chance it's at a sorting facility like this one, owned by Waste Management. 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, its workers are catching all our mistakes.
Nice to meet you.
Mike Taylor oversees recycling operations here in Elk Ridge, Maryland. He showed us what happens to the materials we put on the curb.
So where are we in the process right now?
We call this the pre-sort belt, and these hard-working men and women are looking for the items that shouldn't be in the system in the first place.
Workers here target what they call tanglers, which can get caught up in the sorting equipment. Things like plastic bags, coat hangers, and garden hoses. Other recycling programs refuse items like yogurt cups and shampoo bottles.
What should not be in the recycling?
We shouldn't have the plastic film in our recycling operation here. Foil, we don't like foil.
No foil. Egg carton.
Egg carton, the styrofoam egg carton isn't part of the program.
Golf ball?
Golf balls.
No golf
Time
balls.
of year, no golf balls.
Is that recyclable?
There's another one. When in doubt, throw it out.
When in doubt, throw it out. Right, easy.
Who came up with this phrase, when in doubt, throw it out?
We actually started that.
Mitch Hedlund's organization is trying to remove all doubt. Recycle Across America advocates for standardized labels on both home and public recycling bins, spelling out exactly what can be recycled in each community. The labels, in use here in Orlando and coming soon to other cities, may be our best hope for pulling recycling out of the dumps.
If the public's willing to do it and we have the infrastructure in place to do it, then the industry and municipalities owe it to all of us to make sure it's easy for us to do right.
And the reason this is such a big deal is China now turns down any recycling that's not 99.5% pure, uncontaminated material. So check your labels, check with your local recycler, and get it right. Otherwise, it might go straight to a landfill.
Uh-oh, Tony, I'm a wish cycler.
Everybody is.
That lady looked so sad when you were pointing out all the mistakes.
I know.
Also, the belt was moving so fast to me. How can they get all the stuff?
They get as much as they can. But look, the bottom line, the takeaway is when in doubt, throw it out. And you want to recycle right because recycling is really popular. 94% of people do it at least some of the time.
Some people I've heard have battles at home about whether something should recycle or not. And so if you're on the side of, I'm going to throw it out anyway, you're on the right side of history.
You are. You can win arguments with your family members. You're on the right side if you throw it out.
You've heard this about some people?
I have.
Sounds like John Dickerson is just going to clip and save that and put it on a loop in the Dickerson household.
A little personal work there. Thanks, Tony.
Tony, that's good information. Thank you. Although I know it was a stinky assignment.
It was.
All right. For more tips on what you should and should not do with recycling, check out our Facebook page later this morning. Mitch Hedlund from Recycle Across America will join Tony for a live chat on why Americans should not give up on recycling. And I don't know why this just popped in my head, but I think it would be really funny to go to Gail's house.
I don't. Take it out of your head.
It's funny. We were ringing the doorbell over and over again. No one came
and I was
out.
like, tell him I'm not home.
All the blinds open.
Okay. And tomorrow on CBS This Morning, we'll have an Inside Recycling Center look from Oregon. That's all coming up tomorrow.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Going Zero Waste YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about a question that has puzzled millions and millions and millions of people. What do you do with your pizza boxes? Oh my gosh, this smells so much like pizza and I want pizza so bad right now. Pizza. So I had a pizza party this weekend and I thought, what better than to show you how to properly dispose of your pizza boxes. This is like my kryptonite. This is something that I do once a week. I have pizza and sometimes I have it delivered. And when it's delivered, I have it inside of a pizza box. I don't know many people that have reusable containers large enough to hold a large pizza. But if you are that person, we should be best friends because you sound like my kind of person. But pizza boxes, I'm gonna show you an example. On the inside of your pizza box, you have this half of your pizza box, which is pretty much free of grease. And then typically you have the bottom of your pizza box, which has a whole bunch of crumbs and it has grease all on the bottom. So the way that you're gonna take care of this is what I like to do is I will just rip the top part off that is no longer greasy and I'll put this in the recycling bin. And then the bottom part that has the food particles and the grease on it, you wanna put in your compost bin. Because any sort of cardboard or paper that is wet, greasy, or has food on it should not be put in your recycling bin. It is imperative that paper is clean and dry in order for it to be properly recycled. All right, so I'm gonna break this down real fast. And it's nice because they've already even perforated for you. So there's just a few spots of grease and I'm just gonna rip those off. And now I have a totally clean piece of cardboard. I'll put this in the recycling bin. I'll put this in the compost bin. And that's that. I Alright, I hope you found this video useful or helpful. Please give it a thumbs up, press that big red subscribe button to be notified when new videos are coming out. And I'm considering doing a whole series on how to recycle the right way. If that would interest you, please let me know in the comment section down below. Alright, well I will see you next week with a new video.
You're not supposed to recycle plastic bags at home. But why? The bags are made of recyclable materials, but recycling companies don't want them in your blue bin. Seems strange, right? It's due in part to single-stream recycling, which is common in many communities. It works like this. You toss everything into one bin, and it all gets sorted at the recycling center. Special gears separate flat items, like paper and cardboard, from bottles and other containers. Air jets split lightweight bottles and cans away from glass. Electrically charged aluminum cans are repelled into their own stream, while magnets pull out tin cans and other metals. And after a beam of infrared light detects up to 7 types of plastic, a blast of air sends them along individual paths. The end result is huge bales of sorted materials, which are sold to paper mills, metal foundries, and plastic makers. So, what's the problem with plastic bags? The first complication occurs at step 1, the single-stream recycling bin. Here, bags get wet and dirty and become too contaminated to sell. Second, there's no mechanical process for separating plastic bags at recycling facilities. And a recycling industry representative said there's not enough staff or money to clean and dry the dirty bags. Instead, they either get tangled up in sorting equipment or accidentally end up in bales of separated paper. And if just 0.5% of a bale is contaminated by other materials, it can't be sold to reuse companies. In the end, most plastic bags are removed by hand and dropped in the trash, even if recyclables are inside. So, what can you do? Clean and dry plastic bags are still recyclable, but they must be dropped off at specially designated collection spots, like the ones you see at grocery stores. From there, companies buy the bags and recycle them into hard, durable plastics, like patio furniture. If you must choose between a home recycling bin or the trash, the recycling industry suggests throwing plastic bags in the trash. It might feel wrong, but recycling centers say it helps more materials get recycled. Another option, don't use plastic bags. Opt for paper or cloth bags instead.